Okay everybody, hopefully you guys can see what I'm going to do here. So this is part of the tutorial, as I mentioned in another video, is going to be the washing the part of the video. So what I mean by washing is we're going to do some different color of washes. We'll do a brown wash, we'll do a green wash. I'm going to start off with a green wash because I think green wash will be easier to see than the brown wash. And then if you guys haven't seen the other tutorial videos of the other steps prior to this step that I do on these rotten pumpkins, you could check that out and then come back and watch this one. So it's pretty simple. You want a medium-sized brush, nothing too like something like this. You don't want to use too much of the big brush like this, because big brush you have less control than with the medium brush. I'm gonna hopefully try to get this video in before it gets too dark. So I'm gonna do this pumpkin first. So you just kind of want to grab some paint, you know, get in there. You want to use something kind of bright. And what I do is I just start from the top and I just layer this in, lather it in. And the other thing I like to do, so once I do this, so I really just want to aim for getting it inside where there's some crevices here and there. You could let it also drip inside the black if you want. You could do whatever you really want, whatever you feel like. You can even leave the pumpkin black like that, or do a black wash at the very end. Doesn't matter, it's up to you. So what I do is I first layer my top side of my pumpkin with something like this, a top layer of paint. Okay, now after I have that, I go in with a squirt bottle and I spray the top, because I want that green to kind of spread around a little bit. This could give your pumpkin a little more like a toxic look, or like it didn't fully cure to a nice orange. So it gives it a different, another interesting look, another interesting detail. Now if the green's too bright, you could always go in with some brown, go in with some black, and then just keep going at it like this. Now this is the green method, using green paint, and this works good, if you really want your pumpkin to stand out a little more. This is a really good method to do such a thing. So again, I'm going to do this one right now in front of you guys. So as you can see, I'm just lathering this on the very top. So you pick your top of this pumpkin, you just put the paint on, something like that, a good amount of paint on the very top. You're going to put a stem later. If you keep watching these tutorial videos, you're going to see how I get to that point. So just layering the top with a nice bright green, and then you could even dip your paintbrush in like a bucket of paint, like what I'm doing here. Just kind of get that, kind of get some of that extra paint off. You can do that as well, whatever you decide to choose. Then I'm just going to hit this with the squirt bottle. You're going to see how that green just runs right down the pumpkin. What you're doing is you're really wanting that to get into the grooves, wanting it to kind of get all over the place. It's a messy process, but it's a very cool process. At the end of the result should be pretty cool. Kind of want to get that extra layer of paint out of this top piece. This little pocket on the top is a little starting to pull up there, so just kind of want to spray it around wherever you see that paint didn't go. Go in there and spray it around. Then you hit more water. So you could do something like this. It looks kind of neat. You could also do brown. So go in here with a brown. I'm going to just clean off my brush a little bit. Don't want the paints completely mixed because I'm going to use the brown for other projects, so I don't want to contaminate my brown paint. Now these paints I'm using, they're exterior. Like I mentioned before, I like to use pretty much exterior because I don't have to think about twice if I need to put a clear coat or something. So it just makes sense to go on and use exterior the whole time. If I do use interior, it's no big deal. I'll go in with a clear coat and then I'll make sure that I cover everything. Now, same thing. I'm gonna do a brown on this one, because this one will look good with the brown. So, going in here, doing the same thing, just going in at the very top. And the brown, especially, will add just another layer of detail. Just going like that, spraying around. Now it may look like I'm repainting the pumpkin brown. I'm not. I'm going to just wash it off. And the reason why we start from the top, because it gets into the crevices very nicely, very natural, versus if we came at it from other angles. So once I do that, let me just put this paintbrush somewhere. Now I can hit it with the squirt ball and really start spraying that brown around. You could also just hit it with a wet brush, or dab it with a wet sponge, wet rag, whatever you like. Again, the brown's going to darken it up a little more. There's parts you don't want too much brown, you hit those parts with more water. There's parts you really want the brown in, you just leave it as it is. This one I think it's a little bit too bright. I'm just going to hit it a little bit with brown. Not going to go in too much. You use the leftover. And you can always touch these up, you know, go in again and you just kind of evaluate it yourself. But this is pretty much it for these paint wash process that I use on these pumpkins. You know, just spraying it about here. The foam is actually going to absorb a lot, so you might think, oh, I really over covered this with paint. It's actually not a problem. It's going to be absorbed. And as you can see how that mouth just gets a nice green let's see if I can turn this pumpkin more. It gets like a nice green trim, natural trim of green in the crevices. That's really cool. So you kind of want to do some testing and see what you like. There's no problem in fixing your mistakes with this. It's pretty simple. Once the paint dries, it should look pretty good. So more or less it's going to look the same way as you see it right here. So yeah, so stay tuned for more videos. There's like, I think 1 or 2 more tutorial videos that are attached to these pumpkins. So stay tuned for those and see you in the next one.